Oh, hello there again. It's time to shoot some shit with me, Ollie.
And me, Rich.
It's shooting the shit with Ollie and Rich. How are you, mate? Been a while.
I am very, very, very well. I had a near-death experience on Monday.
Oh, blimey, do share.
It wasn't really that bad. So basically, I'm a bit naive. So I was shopping. I went to Asda at a ridiculous time, about 2 in the morning, because I couldn't sleep. And then I decided to get petrol because like it was on like the last line before it was gonna like stop because there was no fuel in there. And this guy comes along and taps on my window. And like a normal person, we would have thought this is a bit strange. Why is someone tapping on my window? So he might wind down the window a little bit. I didn't wind down the window, I just opened the door.
Oh, right, okay, Christ.
So then this guy, I'm not going to go away just because this is like quite a boring story. But anyway, why am I telling it then? But anyway.
Sorry, how can a near-death experience be boring?
I just can imagine you're going to make a comment about it being quite boring when I tell you what actually happened. So basically, he told me, he goes, do you realise you're driving an uninsured car? And I was like, no, because I'm driving an insured car. He goes, no, it's not valid because you've not got tax. And I was just like, technically I forgot to pay for my tax. I paid for it on the Saturday, so I don't think it went through the system. But he showed me like this phone with like my details showing that I had insurance but no tax. So technically it was invalid.
Mm-hmm.
So I just presumed it was a cop.
Right.
But then when I got home, and then I went to work, I mentioned this to people at work, and they sort of laughed, saying, I don't think he was a cop. I think he actually wanted to kill you. Like, he kept asking me to get out of the car so he could show me the phone in his car.
I don't think he wanted to kill you. I think he probably wanted to steal your car.
Well, I went to steal my car, so it's a piece of shit. It's got odd wing mirrors.
Did he look shady? Was he wearing uniform?
He wasn't wearing a uniform. I just presumed he was a cop because I was like, why else would someone stop me?
Well, I mean, if it was plain clothes, he'd have to have showed you some ID before he just pulled you.
Oh shit! So he really did. Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, he was probably almost certainly not a cop, mate.
I really.
Yeah, no, it was probably a good thing you didn't get out.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I just wanted to help you out. Obviously, I don't care. Like, I don't want you to get in trouble. That makes a perfect sense. He could have been a car stealer because then, like, you don't
want to a car thief, if you will.
Because you don't want to steal a car that's not taxed because then you're likely to get pulled over. That still makes no sense.
Well, there's websites you can go to and put in just a registration plate, and it'll come back with the details. I'm pretty sure about whether or not it's insured and taxed and whatever.
Oh.
So people, because obviously people often buying second-hand cars can get burnt. Like if they receive a car that's not, it's stolen or whatever, then obviously they can get done for it and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, to cut the story short, basically I nearly got mugged or stolen, my car stolen from me.
Why would you open the door to speak?
Because I couldn't be bothered to find the switch to switch the window down.
You'd rather be stabbed. Was this in the petrol forecourt?
Yeah, but
it was like, all on camera.
It's 24 hour. Yeah, so it's all on camera. But then there's someone in front of me as well, so I just presumed. So they wouldn't want to steal my car because, like, how would you get out? And like, there's someone, an actual witness right in front, and I'm sure him being a great citizen would help me out resisting this guy stealing my car.
You'd hope so. Well, I don't know. I mean, if it had been law enforcement, they would have mentioned it, and if they're not, it's none of their bloody business.
Fair. Okay, yeah. But yeah, that was a really interesting story. Should actually get with the actual show now.
Alright then, yeah. What have you got to talk about this week, mate? Mersh.
I've got one or two things, but I think we'll start with the first one, which was the...
That's the best place to start, the first one.
The first one.
That's usually what I go with when I'm about to start talking about something, the first point.
Yeah, so I was watching this interesting self-motivation speech online, and it's about this like rather fit guy who like obviously is into the gym and whatnot, and he's talking about obese people and saying about how tired he is that we make excuses for them, saying basically that like if you look when you go into a convenience store, you see like this fat person walking and you see just behind them little children in their image.
Yeah,
and they're teaching them to do the wrong stuff, like because they're not teaching about good nutrition. He's saying obesity isn't something that's like medical problem unless you've got like some obviously hormone issue, but basically those people that have it are just lazy and that they are not educating themselves to be able to eat healthily.
Have you considered maybe some of them just don't give a shit? Like, they're happy, they don't care that they're overweight, they just enjoy eating.
Well, he certainly didn't. He said basically it offends him and he shouldn't have to see it.
Well,
which I think is you should have a common courtesy to respect people within your recent vicinity or local vicinity.
By not being so shallow as to give a shit about their body size?
Well, you're smelling.
Well, imagine if he's working out a lot, he probably smells often.
Yeah, but then he'd have a wash.
Sweaty and shit.
He'd have a wash before he's out in public, brushing up next to people. Well, I suppose he wouldn't be brushing up to him because he's not fat.
Hey.
Sorry. No, I can understand that, but then when it becomes such an issue as that you can't get out of your own house and other people have to help you out of your house and like do some whole renovation issue to lift you out.
Yeah, I mean, not so much over in this country, but
that's when you've become an arsehole and you've become a burden to other people. It's all good being comfortable in your own skin.
Well, I think most people, I mean, when you reach that size, that someone has to take the side of your house off to get you to the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't think you are comfortable in your own skin. I mean, not least of all because of the bed sores.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're probably not happy at that point.
Can imagine you would be sick of this. Actually, no, you'd probably get used to that putrid smell of your obesity.
Well, I don't know, that's kind of the least of your concerns. I mean, it can't be good for your psychology if you're bedbound.
Yeah.
Well, I'd agree, yeah. I mean, again, I think we've spoken before about the whole sort of healthy at any size movement, all this bollocks on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we should mollycoddle overweight people, and, you know, at the end of the day, we know what it is for most people. It's too much food, not enough exercise, more calories taken in.
It's not hard to get exercise,
though,
is it?
Well, even if you just walk for 10, 15 minutes a day.
Yeah, and don't have some cookies in your hand whilst you're doing so.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Take up smoking.
Yeah. I did agree with the guy. Like, it was quite motivational because I think.
Disclaimer: smoking is probably not a good way to lose weight. I mean, it's a good way to lose weight, but it's not a healthy way to lose weight.
And you'll end up with cancer potentially.
Yeah.
Oh well. Something's going to kill you.
Well, that's related to something I saw. Believe it or not, it came from Tumblr today. It was something bitching about how people seem to accept smokers, even though everyone knows it's unhealthy and all this. But why are people being quiet when there's fat shaming and stuff? And it kind of seemed a very disingenuous point to me, because for one, smokers are not. They're not pretending, they're not kidding themselves or trying to deceive other people that it's healthy.
Yeah.
Everyone knows smoking is unhealthy for you. You make that decision. Even the companies that sell cigarettes and tobacco have to acknowledge, no, it's not good for you. You're going to have respiratory problems. But B, what group in society, in Western society, is more sort of discriminated against than the smoker? I mean, it's not seen as a good thing, is it?
You can't even do it in pubs. Well, they're good things.
Exactly. You can be fat in pubs.
Yeah.
You can't smoke. You go into a place to buy cigarettes, they're all behind screens these days in the UK.
You have to play in a guessing game and be like, oh, I want this.
Well, I mean, if you don't know, if you're just smoking for the first time, I guess. 1 cigarette, please.
The blue packet. But yeah, I get your point.
I don't know. What bothers me is, again, with the healthy at any size sort of thing, people making excuses, is that they're just kidding themselves.
Yeah. I agree.
I think, maybe we should do things like smokers. If you buy a pack of cigarettes, you've got a little picture there of...
A little fat person?
No, message. That makes no sense. It's like a message, like smoking kills, and then a picture of someone on a morgue slab with like a messed up lung or something hanging out of them. I think maybe if you go into McDonald's and buy a Big Mac, the box should perhaps have a picture of, a gangrenous foot because of diabetes. I'm just saying, this idea that, being overweight is the only unhealthy thing that people discriminate against, and if you're a smoker then it's acceptable. Yeah. He raises a good point. You shouldn't mollycoddle people and bullshit them that healthy at any size, whatever. If you're happy at that size, then go nuts.
Yeah.
Be happy, be fat, eat something in your ass, whatever you do.
Yeah. It's going to be outrageous, but then I think if
don't pretend it's not bad for you.
When you get to a certain size, I think the government should give them this form that basically says, you understand you're overweight, you understand the implications of what's going to happen if you carry on eating. If you can't eat, the government doesn't have to pay any money towards your medical expenses.
Well, that's outrageous.
We'll send you to a camp where you can just die in peace. We'll just give you any food you want. Actually, no, we won't do that. You have to get because then we're technically helping you die. But we'll just put you in a nice little place
with just salads everywhere.
And you're just gonna die.
Sorry, why would they die if they're only eating salad?
My point was, I don't want the government to spend any more money on them. Basically, they're just going to be put in a camp.
Or do you feel that way about smokers or drinkers or people who drive too fast and wrap their car around a lamppost or whatever? No, just fat people.
Just fat people.
Well,
smokers, bad drivers. Bad drivers, the people speeding, they're just trying to get somewhere faster, so I don't think anything's wrong with them. Smoking
people who are fat just trying to enjoy some cake. Let them enjoy their cake.
Exactly. Just in a place where I don't have to be, or the general population has to be. We should make little townships actually of just fat people. I'm sure that, because think about it this way, if you put them in the same place, then no one would feel bad. There'll be no one to bully them, because they're all large.
Well, no, because then there'll be some who are larger than others.
Yeah, but they're generally, in the grand scheme of things, just large.
And also people's body shapes, not necessarily general body shapes, but, people lose and gain weight over time. You're suggesting that we should shuttle people backwards and forwards.
Morbidly obese people, just a cut-off point, morbidly obese.
Or just send them out to our territory in the Antarctica or something. Yeah.
That's what I think we should do. There was an actual show called Key and Peele where they actually...
An actual show?
There's a show, yeah, with basically there's... This Negro man, or black man, who actually goes down an alleyway, and then a cop tries to arrest him. He's like, for what? So then he ends up getting towards a car and bashes his head, but then he goes into a dream state where he goes to a place called Negro Town.
Right.
And there's just a load of black people there, where you have no prejudice, people don't get scared of you when you're going to walk across the road towards them, think you're going to mug them. They're not...
Are you suggesting ethno-nationalism, that we should divide society according to colour?
No.
Because I think that's somewhat shaky ground you're on there, mate.
No. What I'm saying is, take that application there and put it towards fat people. They'll be in a place where every opportunity is provided to them.
But it's not.
And they can have fun.
What about healthcare?
Yeah, there's healthcare for fat people.
You just don't want to see fat people.
Just give them a drip of sugar or something. Sorry. I think I agree with the guy. To some extent, it is offensive to see.
Well, I don't know. Tough shit, really. Just suck it up.
Yeah, I wish they could.
That doesn't make huge sense, but if you do.
I was about to say, I bet they really wish they could suck it up, but then they probably can't. Or they probably do. Because they eat a lot. Anyway, away from my fat shaming.
Should we just climb out of this little hole you've dug us?
I think it's quite a big one. Sorry. Anyway, let's get on to the next thing.
Okay.
Have you found anything interesting this week?
Yeah, that was an interesting story that I found quite humorous. Mm-hmm. Slightly strange. You're familiar, obviously, with the concept of pride marches, LGBT pride, sort of, big festivals.
They're doing the red-haired one next year.
What, specifically for red-haired gay people?
No, pride for ginger pride.
Just a ginger pride march.
Oh, yeah, ginger pride.
Fair enough. Why not? I mean, okay, I'm not sure what culture there is unifying all people with red hair, but let them do whatever they want. But anyway, the story is Glasgow. In Glasgow, there's currently, I believe it's called the Free Pride Festival, which is an alternative to the mainstream Pride Festival, which they believe has become too commercial.
Okay.
Anyway, this alternative Pride Festival, has essentially decided to ban drag acts performing.
Surely that makes no sense. Is that not discriminating against themselves?
Many people get angry with that statement, apparently. But apparently, trying to remember the exact wording, I believe it was a council of transgendered individuals and non-binary identifying individuals had decided that, quote, cis drag, which to me doesn't make sense because I thought the whole thing with drag is you're dressing opposite to how you identify.
Yeah.
So I would have thought all drag was essentially cis drag, because trans drag would be dressing how you. Would that not be dressing how you associate, which would just be wearing gendered clothes? But anyway, the argument is that it may be offensive and seem to be mocking of transgendered individuals. So I was wondering what your take was on that, and I mean, I found it quite amusing. It's somewhat ironic.
I found it absolutely hilarious, because to me, the gay community has had to endure a lot of oppression. They've only recently managed to be able to marry.
Well, yeah.
You're trying to. I was listening to a podcast by Charlamagne the God, and he actually said an important point. He's saying, I'm going to paraphrase here. People need to stop seeing being gay and homosexual as an ostrich in the room. If you yourself make an ostrich in the room, then other people are going to make an ostrich in the room. So basically,
I can see what he's saying, but we have to accept the fact that there is a place for sort of pride marches and even, not just LGBT pride, but sort of black pride or sort of pride of any minority group who has in the recent past or even currently is dealing with issues of discrimination.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, yes, in an ideal world, being black or white wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something people consider. What your sexuality was, it wouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't need to have pride events because it would just be part of your personality.
Yeah.
But, obviously we're not necessarily in that place yet. I mean, I'm not in the best position to call that. I'm not a gay man myself, so... But, I think, obviously... gay rights in this country, since it was decriminalised in the late 60s, have come on sort of leaps and bounds. Like you said, they're now, as of this year, was it not earlier this year, now to marry.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty sweet, and I mean, the fact that there are alternative pride marches.
Yeah.
Now, I believe there's also one of these in Brighton.
Okay.
The fact that there are now mainstream and alternative pride marches, I think, shows the fact that pride can be commercialised and marketed to the public shows that, acceptance amongst society at large is, it's coming into play.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of feel like many of the sort of what would have, normally be seen as the big issues, sort of, equalisation of the age of consent, sort of recognition of first civil partnerships, then marriage, obviously decriminalisation was a big thing.
Yeah.
I can't, now that there's maybe less and less of the sort of large fights, many people now seem to just be turning on themselves, because let's not forget that, drag acts have been a significant part of that sort of culture and the movement for the rights.
Self-hate, and it's very backwards thinking. Very backwards thinking within people that have been treated in a very backwards way in the first place, and it's sort of creating that whole elitism within a struggle. who are you? Because some people could say, like, with transgender people, I don't believe this, is that how on earth is it possible for a man to be born in a woman's body, or vice versa? For you to say that those transgender, the cis-drags, sorry, are lesser people than you?
Well, it does seem weird, because on the one hand they'll fight tooth and nail to remove the idea of sort of gender-based sort of clothing, like, oh, women should, wear dresses, men in trousers. So they'll fight against that, but then in this instance they decided that people who probably aren't doing it with the intention of offending transgendered women, because, that's probably not why they're at a Pride March in women's clothes. And, yeah, it's a shame, because there are probably, like I said, I'm not a gay man, I don't know specifically what would be the real big issues, but I understand that sort of youth homelessness is a big concern for LGBT sort of youth. Lots of
parents can't handle the...
Well, possibly, yeah. I mean, again, I don't know much, I understand that that's an issue. There's issues with transgendered women, violence against them.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that this is just sort of, I don't know, these people seem to just be, before all the battles have been won, sort of have already sort of set the gun, jumped the gun and started devouring themselves.
Yeah. It's just exactly how I feel about feminism. But anyway, yeah, I think they need to fix up. Is there going to be an appeal, do you know, or are they...
I don't know. Who are they going to appeal to? I mean, it's the organiser of the festival have decided it. That's their business. It's their festival,
I'd boycott it. Well, there's no point boycotting that because you can't actually go.
Well, I mean, if you were not in...
Yeah.
They've not banned people in drag. It's just that there won't be drag performances.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, obviously isn't as sort of authoritarian, but it's still pretty shitty when, again, you consider the role of drag queens and drag kings in, the culture and sort of the movement for rights, because they have, they are prominent in sort of public perception of sort of these pride events. Okay. They're sort of a part of it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And I believe there's many sort of drag queens and transvestites. I don't know if that's a politically correct term anymore, but
you've used that.
Sort of like back in like the Stonewall riots and stuff, when things were kicking off, they were sort of involved, and it just seems again
very backwards,
but it did give me a chuckle because it's just so ironic. And again, it just seems like maybe people have lost sight of maybe the smaller, what might be seen as smaller sort of fights that maybe still are there for the LGBT community, and just going for petty, point-scoring, egotistical bullshit. But that's just my take on it as an outsider. It just seems sort of overtly hostile to people that are either part of your community or allies to your community at the very least.
Yeah. I think that's dumb. It's like if you imagined Great Britain and USA going into a war, and then you had France on the side, and then being like, well, must be not offensive, must be offensive. It's like, no, you eat frogs, and then like you just discriminate against, like, we still want to beat the other team, but because you eat frogs, we won't talk to you.
Because your breath smells of frog legs,
exactly.
dirty Frenchman.
And then you needed that continent, the country, to help you out, but then you fucked up. You've lost the war now because you've lost that whole mass of people who've gone to other people who eat frogs.
Or possibly become hostile.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a very awesome analogy.
Yeah, no, I did wonder where you're going when suddenly we went from pride festivals to
countries.
Yeah,
frogs.
Geopolitical issues.
Yeah. Cool.
Based on stereotypes.
Oh gosh. One thing I did. One of the really big...
Did you want to put your phone on silent though, mate?
Okay.
I don't know if it's being recorded, but...
Okay, chill on,
This is highly unprofessional.
Sorry.
That's how...
Okay, so yeah, one of the big stories that did make me chuckle on my way back from work yesterday was the Ashley Madison hack game.
I'm not familiar with this.
You not heard of this?
No.
Oh, okay, so basically there's this website called Ashley Madison,
Mm-hmm.
and on there it's for married men.
Is this the website which enabled affairs?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen a headline, yeah.
Uh-huh. So they've got this really cringy sort of tagline. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but basically it enables you, if you're married or whatever, to find other people that are also interested in having affairs. They've got other ones called something Cougar Find or some foolishness. But basically, this hacker group have basically managed to get into their systems and get all their user information, addresses, credit card bills, chats and whatnot, and basically are holding the people that own the website to basically extort them. Basically they want them to halt all business. But what they're using as a justification for this is because within this these sort of companies, they've got this thing where you have to pay to delete all your information. But basically, customers that have done that, because they've earned about 1.4 million from that whole people wanting to delete their information.
That is
shady. So it's like £12 to do so. But yeah, they said they deleted all the information, but they haven't deleted all the information, and that's what they've obtained. So they're doing this at a stand against these policies, which are obviously, conning people into thinking that they can get around and do all this shit. But basically,
are they demanding refunds for the people?
No, they just want them to stop.
Well, altogether?
Yeah, stop anything, all the business.
Well, I imagine even if they didn't want to, they're facing an enormous lawsuit now.
Yeah. Very, very, very fortunate. Well, basically, they're working with authorities at the moment to try and get this rectified, but...
the cat's out of the bag now. The fact of the matter is that they've not deleted all this information.
Yeah. But then, it's sort of that whole argument, do these people that have hacked, do they have a right to do that? They're ruining other people's lives. And then another thing that they're saying why they've done this is also a stand against this immoral, crude, crass behaviour of these people that are in relationships, saying that they deserve what they're getting.
In that regard, yeah, I'm against that, because at the end of the day, that's their business.
Yeah.
It's not, the role of some moral crusaders on the internet to be, passing judgments and trying to interfere with other people's relationships. But I mean, the whole issue with the company is slightly more sort of understandable.
Yeah.
Like if they're running shady business practices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call that service the full delete, but obviously some information is retained, which has been gained.
So it's been verified that data that has been paid to be deleted has been retained. They've not just got data from it,
Mm-hmm. It suggests basically that that's the reason. That's what they're using as their fight.
Their justification. Yeah. Okay.
And they are called Impact Team. That's a very creative name.
Well, they're having an impact.
Yeah.
Presumably 2 or more of them.
Well, they're suggesting that it's an insider who's done so. But my reason for bringing this up is that a lot of people are saying this whole concept of having an affair, an organised affair, and using this app is wrong.
Well,
what do you think about?
I mean, yeah, it's morally questionable, but again, it's a matter of people minding their own business, I guess. I mean, if you've got a friend that's using it, then it's up to you to, the extent of your relationship with an individual, so you maybe want to approach it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the role of other people to be telling you this is how a relationship. I don't know. I mean,
disappointed. I thought that you were gonna.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's it's a sleazy thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the app itself is, I wouldn't
I don't
describe
see
it as moral by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't say it's not moral, because like morals are a slippery scale, in my opinion. Like my morals and your morals may not be perfectly aligned. So who are we to say that someone else's morals are wrong and your morals are right?
Well, indeed.
Like conventions have told us that we should have one partner, but then ages ago they were saying that we should sleep around and do whatever.
Ages ago,
years.
It sounded like really well sourced
way back.
Anthropological argument there, Rich.
Well, there's African kings and queens out there that have got a load of like wives that they're smashing.
Is that still going on?
That's not going on now, but it happened way back. There's Mormons,
yeah.
There's Mormons.
I'm pretty sure the Normans were sort of Christian, I think.
Yeah, so there's Mormons that actually in their written books that they should have more than one wife.
Well, indeed.
Is that not having an organised affair?
No.
Well, it is, because you've got individual wives.
Well, no, because the point of an affair is it's behind an individual's back. It's a relationship outside of the understood parameters of your main relationship.
Well, I'll just call it cheating then.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing.
Right. No, I'm on about the Mormons. But yeah,
the Mormons.
My point there is that how to put it? There's a lot of women in this planet.
On the planet.
They need to be serviced. And, God wouldn't have put them all on here if he didn't want you to give the engine a service.
They're not roughly equal numbers of men and women of healthy reproductive age the world over. I know women generally live longer, so there's sort of usually more highly represented in older age groups, but I think it's fairly 50-50, mate.
Okay.
So if some bastard has taken 5 wives, or some bitch has taken 5 husbands, then that means like 4 other people.
Yeah. That's good that they've got.
Unless of course they've got like just a mix, 2 or 3.
It's good that they've got that website then, isn't it? Because then there's other people who are going to get. Sometimes. I don't see what's wrong with it. To be honest, like if you've got desires in a relationship, like you may love someone that you're with and find them sexually attractive, but then they're not, sating your appetite.
Well, maybe you should actually talk to them about that.
Well, maybe you have. And then it's sort of like...
Well, maybe you need to question whether or not you want to be with that individual.
No, but you do want to be with them, but then you want to sleep with someone else. I don't see what's wrong with this. Like, what is wrong with sleeping with someone else?
Well, maybe you should have that discussion with them before you just go and sleep with someone else.
Yeah, but they don't need to know. That's what I'm saying with these people.
But then that's where it's immoral.
It's not. No, because it's immoral to you.
It's a breach of trust.
It's immoral to the other person.
Yeah, but in a relationship, there's sort of compromise, isn't there?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to compromise your morals.
Sorry, you think it's your moral duty to have an affair?
Me?
Yeah.
I have the concept. I've already told you that these beliefs here that I firmly believe.
Right.
As long as the other person that you're going out with,
right,
doesn't know.
See, surely it needs to be the other way around, really. If you're in an open relationship, that's fine. You do that.
Yeah, but you could be in an open relationship.
Polyamorous relationship, then
it's open for you.
Well, no.
She doesn't know. It's closed for her.
You need to. You need to establish these boundaries, really, don't you? If you're to actually develop a meaningful relationship built on trust. But never mind.
But what I was trying to say is basically that with these things, like these other people do not know. They're living a happy lifestyle. They're being provided for. They're like they've got kids and whatever. telling them now is not helping that. That's splitting up families. That's causing disharmony, you know? And it was a perfect perfect functioning there.
Okay, what happens when they find out because of a text or an email or a Facebook thing or...
Well, that's the person who's doing it stupid fault. Like, you make sure that the person can't do that.
You just come home.
So make sure you've got shit on them. So if they
thinking on whiskey and sex.
You have a wash up receipt before you get back. Come on, man. People need to think of these things.
Well, people who aren't having affairs don't.
Yeah, I think it's a bit out of order that people have actually done that. And I hope that they don't release the information because I think that'll be out of order.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to at this point, surely, in order to accomplish the main goal of going after the company.
It's potentially going to affect 34 million. There's 34 million users worldwide.
Mm.
So, yeah, people that are CEOs and athletes, their shit's going to get fucked up.
Blimey.
Well, at least they got a nice ride out of it, though.
Well,
it's a bit annoying though for people that obviously are on those websites and haven't actually done anything because like they're
just browsing.
Their face is going to be exposed as well. Like,
they're just there to comment on pictures and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, well, you look nice in that bra. Speaking of actually dating apps, I found another one. There's one called Looks.
Right.
So basically, they
a more shallow Tinder
for high class individuals like CEOs, top athletes, you know. Other rich, ridiculous people. So basically, their tagline is like basically Tinder, but for people of a higher standard. So if you don't,
blimey, that's a.
So basically, like some of the questions when you first sign up are like talking about your net worth. What brands do you identify with?
What brands you identify? If you identify with brands, you've got no soul.
So basically, if you can't identify with these things, then you know you shouldn't be on there. And yeah, it's not basically the risk that they would expect them to
identifies with brands. It's just
yeah. So yeah, dating apps is an interesting thing this week for me. I found it quite interesting.
Well, yeah, it's been interesting thing to think about. It's been a good week in terms of news. General bollocks.
Cool.
Crazy, stupid bollocks.
I think we're just rambling to try and finish this off now.
Yeah, I know. So the best way to finish it off is probably to stop talking.
Yeah.
So, we've been shooting some shit. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Rich.
And we'll see you later. Goodbye. How do I fucking stop this?
Oh.